We will now call the Fayette County School Corporation Board of School Trustees Business Meeting to order. We're here at the Administration Building. It's Tuesday, August 13th, 2019, 6:30 p.m. Welcome, everybody, and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, begin this evening by asking for a motion to approve the agenda as submitted and amended. Thank you, Chris. Do I hear a second?
A second.
I think Dennis was first. I'll give it to him. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Tonight we will, if there are any patron comments on agenda items. These are the later ones, right? Yes. Okay. We will move on to the consent agenda. It includes the approval of minutes from the regular board meeting of 7/16/19 and the executive session of 7/12/19. The personnel report with retirements, resignations, leaves of absences, etc. The approval of the July 2019 claims, number 53883 to 54065. Donations. A donation of $2,470.90 from the Louise Joyner Trust for use in the Life Skills Classroom. A donation valued at $2,000 from the Zionsville High School Show Choir to be used by the CHS Choral Department. So, seeing the consent agenda, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Andy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ann. Any discussion?
I was just wondering exactly what the donation from the Zionsville High
So
School
me
was.
too.
Do we know?
Yes. Clothes.
I'm curious.
Or how that came
Sounds
about.
weird.
Choir costumes.
Choir costume, tuxedos.
Was there any particular reason
Okay.
why they chose to
Right.
do that for us? Does anybody know?
They got.
Probably Roger. I mean, you know, he's a man of all talents.
He is.
Well connected.
Well known. So
Okay.
I don't know, maybe
Okay.
Randy knows,
I
but
didn't,
he stepped down.
Welcome back.
What did I know?
we don't know if you
how
know.
Zionsville hooked us up with the costumes?
Yes, there were costumes they didn't want to use anymore, and they were aware that Roger Tyler has a very good choir program, and that we
Okay.
have
Must
a
be
show
Roger's
choir.
show.
Okay.
And they called him and said, hey, we are getting rid of some things, we have new things, and if you're interested, we would like you to have first dibs, and he drove up there that night, and got them.
Wow.
They're very nice.
That's wonderful.
Well, great. We were
Great.
wondering what the connection was, why Zionsville was contributing to us.
And we thank them.
Yes.
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
Sure do.
Okay, so, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll now move on to the action items. Personnel report, recommendations for employment. Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board, I'm happy to report this is my last personnel report I hope to make for a while. But I'm looking forward to Mr. Hensley joining us up here next month. We do have recommendations for employment, and I'll go through the list, and then we have a couple of folks who will share a few words. Administrative, we have Brian Hensley, Director of Human Resources and Facilities, Michelle Harder, Special Education Teacher, and also our new girls varsity basketball coach. Certified staff, Alexis Beasley, Maplewood, Karen Brenstetter, Counselor at Eastview and Maplewood, Ashley Boothman, Special Education Teacher, Maplewood, Jennifer Fitzwater, School Social Worker at Grandview Fayette Central, Susan Flutie, Health Careers Teacher at Whitewater Career Center, Michelle Hawk, Elementary Teacher, Maplewood, Amanda Herbert, Language Arts Teacher, Carnersville Middle School, Taylor Isaac, Special Education Teacher at Everton, Brandy Jolliffe, Physical Education Teacher at Everton and Frazee, and Sydney Keene, Elementary Teacher at Eastview. Classified staff, Pat Cloyd, Special Education Assistant at CHS, Jeffrey Graves, Special Education Assistant at CHS, Amber Hamilton, Special Education Assistant at Eastview, Kathy Mullins, Nutrition Bus Assistant at Grandview, Amanda Parsley, Education Assistant at Eastview, Jacqueline Richardson, Nutrition Bus Assistant Maplewood, Ashley Warner, Nutrition Bus Assistant at Maplewood, and Emily Warner, Education Assistant at Eastview. For extracurricular staff, we have 5 this month. Jonathan Bittner, boys swimming coach, CHS. Anthony Fox, assistant football coach, Carnersville Middle School. Michelle Harder, varsity girls basketball coach, CHS. Wendy Sargent, JV cheer coach, CHS. And Shayna Williams, assistant varsity girls basketball coach, CHS. And finally, some information I had given you as background for the board meeting. Jimmy Croucher has been in that lead maintenance employee role, and we had provided minimal compensation for that, but I would like to increase his pay by $2 more per hour as he handles the day-to-day operations within the maintenance department as the maintenance team leader. Now, before we present this to you for the approval, I want to share a few things about Brian. Brian has worked in HR. He was with Honda Manufacturing in Greensburg and served in an HR function there and had great references from there. And then since October of 17, he's been with us as the head of facilities. So I'm really excited about bringing his interpersonal skill set to us as well, to join us here in this role. And you know, I want everyone to note that we are trying to find ways to save administrative costs. And I think we're going to continue to find ways to do that as we can through these opportunities. So I want to welcome Brian to this team upon your approval and look forward to working with him in this role. And then I asked Brent to share a few words about Michelle Harder, if he would like to come up and share a few
Sure.
words about our new coach.
I scurried to put a few things together. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about Michelle. We're excited to have her on board. I can't remember, I'm gonna say it's probably about 1997 since the last time Our Lady Spartans has been led by a female. So, and for our opinion, we're due. And, we have a great candidate. Just a few words about her. She's been working on her basketball craft for the past 28 years. 16 years as an assistant coach at Warsaw, and then 10 years as the head coach. In the past 2 years, she's been at Evansville Central. She graduated from Wawasee, got her bachelor's from Huntington University, and her master's from Al Nazarene University. Words from the ADs and coaches that I talked to about her. I had to write them down because there was too many. Very hard worker. She'll work the entire program from top to bottom. Very caring. Works to build the relationships with the girls. Very dedicated. Works hard in the off season, not only in the athletic world, but she's in her classroom quite a bit. Great in the classroom. We'll put time in to make our program better, and she's very prompt with all of her administrative details. I've known some of the people, of course, we always call the people on a reference, but I've known people that know her that I went to college with, that was AD that hired her at Warsaw, so I talked to, his name's Joe Santa. I talked to her current athletic director at Evansville Central, Catherine. Is it Brenda Wright? Administrative, she's in charge of the Warsaw athletic coordinator there. She had a lot of great things to say, but just a little bit about her overall coaching record. She's been head coach for 12 years. She's got a 155 and 93 record in the 12 years that she's been coaching. She's at Warsaw for 10 years. She's got 2 sectional championships, 1 regional championship, 2 Northern Lakes Conference championships. 2013, she was the junior all-star head coach. Junior all-stars will typically practice against our senior all-stars before they prepare for the Indiana-Kentucky all-star game. 2013, she was named the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association and the Indiana Coaches of Girls Sports Association Coach of the Year. 2015 through 2017, she sat on the board of directors of the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association. I don't think you get elected to those positions if you haven't earned and cut your teeth somewhere along the way and earned your stripes. And then, of course, the year that our coach was assistant coach on the Indiana All-Star team, she was an assistant coach on the Indiana Girls All-Star team against the Kentucky team in 2017. But I guess for me, and I've spent a few hours driving around the car and showing around Connersville and the Bowl, which she had never been in, and she kind of liked it when she got there. But I sat in my office maybe a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago, with Mr. Collins and Mr. Brown. Of course, I know everybody thinks that Coach Brown's a slice of bread, so I just sat back and listened for about 15 to 20 minutes of 2 basketball coaches going back and forth at it and didn't miss a beat. So if she can speak as well as I think she saw it with Coach Brown and she gets on the court what I think she can put on the court, I think we can see our girls program turn the way Carrie turned our boys program. I don't know there's too many people in the state can hold his water sitting and talking with Carrie. It's a select group of people around the state. So I was impressed just listening to what they had to offer, and Carrie's picking her brain about hard to believe, 2-3 matchup zone. And she'll sometimes play, and you know Kerry, he's a devout man-to-man person, and it will never happen, but at least he's willing to talk. So from my standpoint, we're excited to have Coach Harder on board. Look forward to what she can bring to the Lady Spartan program and rebuild what we know it has been and where it can be. And I think the addition of having Shane on board and Laura Igny, which was Laura Richards, 2 former All-Stars or college winner division basketball players, that will help our girls because they can tell them what it's been like and how they got there. With her guidance, I'm sure that will lead them back to where we can be. So happy to introduce Michelle Harder, our new Lady Spartan basketball coach. And I think if you would like to say a few words, I'll step aside to the podium.
I wasn't expecting it, but I just would like to say I'm very appreciative of this opportunity. I'm excited to get back in a community where young people are first, and athletics is something that's important to the community and the support that they have. That's something that I've been missing the last couple years growing up at Wawasee High School and then coaching there at Warsaw, a huge basketball community there. So I'm really looking forward to getting started. I'm excited about the opportunity, and I can't wait. It's exciting. It's been sleepless nights for me thinking about this and getting prepared to move here. So I'm very appreciative of this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will have a reception afterwards for Brian and Michelle. Some cookies and goodies, so that'll be after the board meeting.
Well, thank you. That was very exciting. So I'd like to seek a motion to approve the personnel report.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Lori. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ann. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Permission to advertise for capital projects hearing and bus replacement plan hearing, Ms. Kellum Tollett.
Thank you, Mrs. Jacobs. In the newspaper, we are only required to publish a notice that includes a link to the Fayette County Schools website and information about when the public hearing will be, which is at our September meeting. It's very short for the bus replacement plan and the capital projects plan. Cindy has those documents, and we load those to the front of our front webpage so that individuals in the community who want to review the bus replacement plan or our capital projects plan are available. You're only required to denote items of $10,000 or more. However, we've talked in an effort to be more transparent. I include all of the items that we are planning to spend capital projects money for, whether it be through the education fund for educational purposes or through the operations fund for non-educational purchases. Those are all listed clearly in those documents. So this is to us to publish those notices. The regular budget is advertised through the Indiana Gateway site, and that's where individuals can see information related to the education fund, rainy day fund, and debt service fund.
Okay, thank you, Janie. I would like to seek a motion to approve the permission to advertise for capital projects hearing and bus replacement plan hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mark. Do I hear a second?
I will say that.
Thank you, Chris. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, affirmation of support staff employee of the year, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. I think I fooled her at the back to school meeting, so that's hard to do because she's in my business a lot. Had some help from Cindy Lynch and Janie, who were a tag team effort, but I think that Cindy is very deserving of being recognized as the support staff member of the year for 2020 for Fayette County Schools, and you all see that side of what all she does to support board operations and things, but just the skill set she has in dealing with the public, dealing with all the different things that happen. She's a jack of all trades and very worthy of this. So I'm submitting Cindy to you for affirmation as our support staff member of the year for Fayette County Schools.
What a wonderful action item to get to vote on. So I'd like to hear a motion to affirm the support staff employee of the year, Cindy Young.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? Thank you for all you do, Cindy. You really keep us on our toes. You
Thank
get,
you, Cindy.
somehow you managed to get Chris in here to keep signing. All those times he'd kind of walk out without signing.
I've got one of those retractable things.
We now know to ask, is there anything else before we leave? Okay. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Transfer of funds from the educational fund to the operational fund. Jane Helen Tollett.
Thank you. Currently, we're transferring about 10% of our education fund proceeds from the education fund proceeds from state support. The state has set a target of not more than 15%. In looking at the circuit breaker impact for this year of approximately $1.3 million and next year at $1.5 million, I am recommending that we take that transfer up to a monthly basis to the 15% allowed by the state, so that we can make sure that we have sufficient resources for our operational the old transportation fund, old capital projects, and those types of expenditures. This resolution presented tonight would replace the resolutions that you approved last October. And so the 15% would be retroactive to July 1 of the state support that was paid to us. Each month, 15% would be transferred to the operations fund. If this is the course that the board chooses to proceed with, your resolution for transfers next year will mirror this to be a 15%, and that'll be for your consideration at the October board meeting. So,
Jeannie, I have a question, and I don't want to invoke your ire. So, property taxes, and the property tax cap has affected schools tremendously, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And our property tax monies that we do get often goes to building maintenance, repairs, capital project, like how would you define that?
Basically, it goes to debt service
Okay.
first, 100% to debt service.
Okay.
We no longer have pension debt, so that's a non-issue. The rest of it is for the operations fund, and it carries the full force of the circuit breaker right now. Now, there are some waiver opportunities, but our debt service went up last year and this year, and we did not qualify because both our rate and levy went up. The waiver is available next year, and I believe we'll be under that, and we may exercise that option, so debt service takes a portion of the circuit breaker. But it is for administrative costs. It is for non-student related technology. It is for maintenance, custodians, all of the bus transportation rolls into that now, so.
Pretty much operational, that's why it's called operational.
It is. The educational is strictly related to the classroom or nursing services, direct building administrators, those types of things. So all the light bills, all of that goes out of
Funding, student services,
operations.
academics, that's all.
Counseling, social workers.
That's all education
Educational.
fund. Yeah,
Correct.
which is not
Correct.
property tax money.
It is not.
Right.
It is all from the state support that we receive from student basic grant, technical education, academic honors is a small amount,
Okay.
special education, I'm not sure I said that, career center, those are all accumulated. And you won't, I left at your places.
Right.
There have been no changes to the numbers, but after going through it, I did find some typographical errors that I have corrected. But you will find the 8 pages of how we calculate what we're gonna collect in our education fund. It is in the education fund tab to the back. Right now, based on estimated numbers, it looks like our total funding from 2019-20 versus 2018-19 will be down about $56,000. That's manageable. They increased the amount per student that we're getting. They have rolled the complexity index into the student amount now. That was based on your poverty. So we can get into the devilish details next month of the budget.
Sorry, just was trying to find it while you were talking,
Okay,
but.
I'm sorry. But if you go through this, you'll see the 8-page calculation of all the different numbers and how that is. And so that's it. That's how we get our money for the education fund. It's based on our student count. So students that aren't here, we don't get any money for. Students, and the thing that's going to impact us significantly is they have added that second count day in February for funding. So they didn't do that years and years ago. Then they had a period of where you got half your money based on your fall and half of your money based on your February count. And then they went back to just the fall. Well, we're a declining enrollment school, and you have kids leave between September count day and January, expulsions, dropouts, all of that. So, yeah, mid-year graduations. The donut schools, you know, the Hamilton Southeasterns, the Zionsvilles, the Carmels, they're constantly having growth. And they have the ear of important legislators. And so now we have that second count day back.
So what time, I know our first count date is in September, so when do we, is that correct? Okay, so when do we receive that money at that point? Is it delayed 6 months, is it delayed?
No, that money actually is, they're paying us an estimate right now.
Okay.
That money is retroactively applied to July 1 for the second half of this year. Then the February count controls the first 6 months. And it usually takes them a couple months to reconcile it, so, yeah.
And obviously that estimate is off of last year's enrollment.
Yeah.
Okay. So. we
So
may
sometimes
possibly-
our October and November payments take
Yeah.
a dime.
So when do they, what I'm saying is when they disperse the money, if they're paying us an estimate off last year and we have a declining enrollment, say for this year, are they gonna cut that even more in February to make up for what we didn't have?
The
first?
February estimate, they start paying us in January.
Okay,
We settle up before the end of this calendar year with them for the first 6 months. Then your January payment is based on your September count.
okay.
And then we count in February, take a couple months, and then in April, we'll usually start seeing an adjustment for what they've paid us January through March.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for all that explaining. I would like to hear a motion for transferring of the funds from the educational fund to the operational fund.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Lori. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Ann. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we are on to public comments. Persons wishing to make the board aware of suggestions, ideas, and/or comments may address the board at this time. Comments which involve personnel or students must be discussed in private. And I think we have 2, is that right? Or just 1? 2. Hello, Marvin.
Hi, should I introduce myself?
Nobody knows you.
I became aware last week that the middle school sports program in, I believe, 3 sports, cross-country, swimming, wrestling, that 6th graders are now allowed to participate, which I think is a real good idea. I mean, if you want to build up your athletic program, you know, it's a good start to get them involved in that sport. But what kind of surprised me was the fact that it was excluding students from St. Gabriel's, and then I would assume others like Community Christian and homeschooling, whatnot. So what I would like to see done, and I don't know how you go about doing this, whether it's the board committee or subcommittee or what, But to look into that decision, however it was made, whoever made it, doesn't matter at this point, but to look into it and hopefully change that decision so it does include all sixth graders in the county. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marvin.
Marvin.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
I know most everybody, but my name is Justin Keel for the people that I haven't really talked to or met. And I'm basically just touching on the same subject that Marvin is. It seems to me that there wouldn't be anything special given to the students, whether it be homeschooling, St. Gabriel's, any accredited school, which was brought to my attention. It needs to be an accredited school. I know that it's made at the local level that we can change this, and that it's all, if it's about numbers, let's get them all in there. Let's get the numbers up, and let everyone participate. I don't see any reason why the buses are going there anyway. Why not let these kids on? I mean, their other teams. Our team is participating regardless. So what's the difference in having a few more from accredited schools? I totally understand that aspect of it. I mean, there has to be guidelines, but that's really all I wanted to touch on as well. I feel like if we're already making the attempt with the other sixth graders, let's let them all in. Let's let them all compete, because we know what team sports do for kids. Bottom line, that's why we have team sports. It's not for us; it's for them. So that's all I have. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Thank you so much.
Justin. Appreciate it. Yeah. Right. Okay. We thank you guys for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us. Don't really have anything else to say at this point. Okay, we will move on to report items, superintendent's discussion groups reports. Seeing none, principal's director reports.
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
Daryl was looking for the right moment to get
I was
out.
sleeping. I'm gonna go ahead and pass these around.
He wanted a drum roll.
Yeah, I was waiting. These are a couple of things I'm sending around. When Mr. Collins and I ordered buses, we ordered the stop arm bus cameras on the side. These will show you a snapshot of how they take from the front and from the back. I think if you look at them, the clarity, the area is pretty clear. Everyone knows right now it's a big deal. We are working with the city police department on a grant they got. We have officers on the bus this week and next week and maybe the week after, and a trail car getting them. We had one stopped yesterday that we got, and I talked to the chief today, and just so, I'm sure it's been in the paper, but passing a bus stop arm with no one injured is a misdemeanor, could be up to a $5,000 fine, 1-year sentence, and in addition, you could lose your license for 90 days on your first time doing it. The city police have helped us very much. They're following us around. Aaron Edwards is following us around. It is a big deal. But the money we spent on these cameras are well spent money, because I mean we will catch several people. As you can see, we clip a video, we can show them doing it. I mean, it is going to help keep our kids much safer. I don't think we should ever order another bus without them. So just want to give you an idea of what it looked like. You know, our bus, we got 5 new buses that are on the road. They're tremendous. This is helping a lot. We've had a lot of good comments on them from the drivers. So just kind of wanted you guys to see what was going on. Any questions?
Yeah, there was, the cameras, they equipped on all the buses or just the new ones?
The 5 new ones.
5 new ones, okay.
Yeah, but now we get kickback. So when we turn these over to the police department and they send that in, we get money back, and we have to go discuss this with the judge yet, and the county and city. They kick back money from each ticket to help pay that camera off.
Okay.
Now, what we're going to ask for is, I believe, we want to continue to get money back from it. And I don't think anybody's going to say no to that. So we can put them on the 18s and maybe 17s. We don't want to go back much farther than that, because we're going to be starting to get rid of those. But we can take them off and replace them on another camera. but they're about $3,500 a piece. But they are well worth it if we save one kid. So,
And, you know, for the public, we don't want, I know the article was in the paper today, our goal isn't to get someone, we don't want anyone to have to pay this fine. I just, you know,
We don't ever
that's
want
the
to see it
last thing
happen.
we want, but at the same time, this has become a very big issue across the state and the country, and we have some people who, I mean, every day last year, it seemed like Daryl would share where a vehicle ran past the stop arm. So he has strategically placed these in areas where we've had issues, and, you know, and so that was a good move on Daryl's part to place those in those routes where we typically will have the issues. But our city police has been a good partner. This all just happened as a result of that grant, and so, you know, hopefully the word will spread and we won't have this happening, because that's the key, is safety.
the drivers that have CDL license that do this, pass them, automatically lose their license, so they automatically lose their job. So if that happens, they've lost their job. So, any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl. Okay. Temporary Director of Human Resources report. That's gonna change next meeting.
I have really nothing other than we have all teachers in place, and I want to commend our principals, Kim, Crystal. It was all a team effort with recruiting, finding people, and we have some really great teachers we brought on board. I'm really pleased. I think Kim will share the same thing. We've hired a really good group and excited about the future with them, so that's it.
Director of Finance report.
I'll pass.
Okay. Assistant Superintendent report.
Just want to echo our new teacher. We had our new teacher academy, and it's just a great group of teachers. They're very motivated, big on building relationships. They're going to fit right into our district initiatives. And then just want to welcome everybody back. I know Scott and I have been able to be in all of the buildings in the last couple of days, and it's just like we haven't even left, and they're just right back at it. And it's just we had a great start. And so that's kudos to our administrators, our teachers, and our students. And let's keep that momentum going. That's it for me.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Just to remind everyone, we'll have a reception afterwards, and welcome Michelle and Brian.
Okay. For the good of the cause, anybody have anything they want to share tonight?
Start of school was great. I was in a couple of buildings, and the kids I think everybody was pretty much ready to get back. Everybody seemed to be pretty happy. The cafeteria lines went reasonably well. The seventh graders were delighted to see that they could go to 4 different lines. Options. It was pretty cool. I think everybody did a really good job. And the new Chromebooks that the high school kids have, my granddaughter happened to show me hers last night, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really cool. And her little brother still has an iPad. He wasn't too happy. But those are just fantastic. So whoever was involved with putting those in the hands of our high school kids, that's really a fantastic thing. The capabilities of that thing just seem to be endless. And I'm technologically challenged, but it looked easy enough. As my granddaughter said, Grandma, you could probably even do this, which I sincerely appreciated from my freshman in high school grandchild. But whoever was involved in putting those in the hands of those kids, great job. I'll be curious to see how the development of that works throughout the school year, because they're so much better than the iPad, so much better.
And you all have the Chromebooks there at your places too,
Yeah,
which is nice.
yeah. Except hers does something different.
It folds.
They fold, yeah, it folded up.
Well, these fold, how is it different?
No, this one goes.
Yeah, it does.
It does, okay.
It's just,
Yeah,
stiff.
yeah, it's just stiff.
Get some WDs for you.
Yeah. But just really, such a good technological tool for our high school kids.
Great. Anything else from anybody? Here we go. I'd like to seek a motion to adjourn.
So move. And by the way, that if you see me in a white van, that is not my white van. It will now be blue. I do drive.
He's gonna wear a tarantula mask.
Do I hear a second?
it.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
That was good.